Have you ever gotten a message that just stops you in your tracks? One that unravels years of history you thought was buried for good? Well, today, we're diving deep into a story exactly like that. It's all about memory, heartbreak, and, those ghosts that never really leave us.
So, picture this, right? It's been 4 years, 4 whole years since this massive, life-changing relationship ended. And then, boom, 5 little words pop up on your screen. Can we be strangers again? Wow. That's not just a question, is it? It's like a key turning in a lock on a door you swore you'd sealed shut forever.
So we're in Goa. It's one of those rainy days where the air just feels heavy, full of memory. Our narrator, a guy named Dev, he's just trying to have a quiet moment with a cigarette, and then that notification. It just yanks him right back into the emotional storm he's been running from. And this, right here, is where our journey into his past kicks off.
Okay, so to really get what that message means, we have to rewind. Let's go all the way back to 2020. Remember that? The world is in lockdown. For Dev and his classmates, college isn't about finding your way around to campus. It's just a grid of faces on a screen. Super awkward, super isolating. And yeah, that's where this whole thing begins.
You know how it all gets started? A simple college assignment. Seriously, a professor, probably trying to get everyone to connect online, assigns this photo collage project. And Dev, our guy, gets the job of collecting photos from all these classmates he's never even met in real life. It sounds kind of boring, right? A bit of a chore? But this little task, it turns out to be the start of, everything.
And then it happens. He's scrolling through all these pictures, the usual casual selfies, group shots, and then one photo just stops him dead in his tracks. It's a girl in this absolutely breathtaking purple sari. Her name? Avantika. And even through the kind of blurry glow of his laptop screen, he feels it, this instant powerful pull, a real connection.
So what does he do? He sends her this message. It's the first one ever. Super polite, almost professional, right? But he includes one word that changes everything. Beautiful. And that's the spark. That's all it took. Suddenly, this boring class project isn't about the project anymore. It's about this conversation. And that conversation, it just blossoms into this huge, all-consuming infatuation. All right, let's fast forward a bit. It's December now, and the world is slowly starting to open back up. Students are actually heading to the campus in Bangalore. And this online screen-to-screen connection, it's about to face the ultimate test, the real world.
And guess what? The test is a major success. When they finally meet in person, that little spark isn't just a spark anymore. It's a full-on bonfire. The chemistry that was kind of flickering through their texts is now just undeniable. For Dev, that's it. That's all the confirmation he needs. He knows he can't keep his feelings to himself any longer.
So he sets the scene perfectly at this little cafe. He just lays it all on the line, tells her, "With you, every moment feels right. I love you." And she says yes. I mean, can you imagine? It's this huge, heart-pounding, epic moment. But there's a catch. Of course there's a catch. She wants to keep the whole thing a secret. But you know what? In that moment, the whole secret thing doesn't even matter. Because as they're walking home that night, the sky just opens up and they have their first kiss in the pouring rain. It's straight out of a movie, right? So romantic. It feels like the absolute perfect start to their love story, like a seal on a promise. But we all know how these things can go. Even the sweetest dreams can have their dark corners. That picture-perfect romance starts to show some cracks. And the first signs of trouble, they always show up in the small, tiny details you almost miss.
And here they are. These are the moments that plant those first little seeds of doubt. First, he finds out she smokes, a habit he really can't stand. Then, her ex, a guy named Mahol, calls while they're hanging out. She ignores the call, but then he sees her texting, all secretive, right after. When he asks about it, she just brushes it off. Oh, we're just normal friends. Each one of these little things, it's another tiny crack in the foundation of his trust. And this is what brings us right back to our narrator in Goa today, lighting up his own cigarette. How ironic is that? The very habit he hated in her has now become his coping mechanism. A constant, bitter reminder of how she changed him and then just left.
So that pulls us right back to where we started. We're full circle. Back in Goa, the rain's still coming down, and that text message is just sitting there, unanswered. He's just relived the entire past.
and now it's time to deal with the present.
I mean, after going through all that again, this incredibly intense, painful romance, the big question is still just hanging there. Who sent that message? Who is on the other end asking to be a stranger again?
Finally, Dev musters up the strength to reply. He starts typing, and it's not a message of anger or confusion. It's just sad acceptance. You can feel the painful letting go in it, like he's finally truly ready to close this chapter for good. But just as he hits send, his eyes fall on the contact name saved in his phone, and it says Tam. Not Avantika. The message wasn't from her at all. It was from Tanishka, her friend. The entire emotional roller coaster he just went on, all that heartache, it was triggered by someone he thought was just a side character in his own story. Wow. And that reveal just changes everything, doesn't it? It reframes the entire story. Avantika, his supposed great love, well, she taught him a really harsh lesson about what manipulation feels like. But Tanishka, Tam, she was the one who actually showed him a healthier way to care about someone, to love with some perspective. She was the one who helped him pick up all the pieces. And suddenly, you see the true source of his pain. The real tragedy wasn't just losing a manipulative girlfriend. It was losing a real, genuinely supportive friend, Tanishka. He lost her the first time because his relationship with Avantika just swallowed everything else. And now, with this message, he's just lost her for a second time, for reasons he's still trying to wrap his head around. You know, it really just perfectly captures that painful, unfair feeling of a breakup. You spend all this time building something together, piece by piece, but it only takes one person to decide it's over. And they can just tear the whole thing down in an instant, with a few simple words on a screen.
And so, the story leaves us with this question just kind of hanging in the air. He's accepted that it's over, but the feelings, they're still there. It's such a powerful and relatable question, isn't it? About that echo of love that just lingers, the scars that don't ever fully fade. How do you unfeel something that has become a part of who you are?